For so many years, I thought more weight meant more gains, which was right. But it only started working for me when I stopped training like the average powerlifter. Here's why you might want to take a look at your training right now and see if you're doing this. And if you are, how you can improve. The illusion of progress, right? Because we're so focused now on like sort of getting stronger, because we know a stronger muscle will be a bigger muscle. Psychologically, what we want to do is always increase the bar. You hear it everywhere. All these influencers, YouTubers, everyone's like more weight on the bar, more weight on the bar. Perfectly fine. But what you will do is sometimes sacrifice form for that. So I remember when I started training, I obviously did a deadlift as a standard part of my program. And then when I wanted to go up, even though I might not have been ready to do that weight jump, I did it and then my form changed, right? So my back might have rounded more than it should have. Back rounding is fine, by the way, but mine sort of rounded in a dangerous fashion. And then because I pulled that weight up for that many reps, I gave myself the pass. I'm stronger. I did 100 kilograms last week. I can do 110 now. Perfect. This is amazing. And what that does is, right, the first set that you would have done at your set weight, starting weight when the form was good, and now you've changed the form. So now that exercise is not giving you the same signal, sort of stimulus basically to that muscle to say for it to grow. So what you're doing essentially is like you're lying to yourself. So honestly, that's literally what it is, right? You've got an exercise, you're doing fine. You've now added weight on, but now to make it easier maybe, or just to make sure you reach that level, that weight you want to do to get the PR, you change your form. And it's not you progressing, it's not you getting stronger, is it? And again, the question is, can you hit the same rep range with the same form again and again per exercise? Again, even things like tempo, right? I'm not a big fan of someone basically saying, oh, you need to slow it down yourself. No, I'm saying the tempo. If it changes, so let's say you're doing a deadlift and you're able to go down, so like a normal bodybuilder, you're able to lower the weight down at a good speed, but then when the weight gets higher, you start dropping it down, right? Is that the same? When you're picking it up, your back's rounding, but now you're dropping it rather than what you were doing before was lowering the weight down at good tempo, at standard tempo. If not, then you've not gotten stronger, and therefore your muscles have not gotten bigger. So we need to sort of stop lying to ourselves and then see, am I progressing? And then what that does is it brings your focus back to things that can actually make you stronger. If you're honest with yourself and say, I've not improved in this exercise this week, I tried the same form, same tempo, same everything, and everything was the same in terms of performance, and I was not able to go up, then you can actually look at what really matters. Rather than lying to yourself, it's sort of facing the truth. It's sort of saying to yourself, nope, you call yourself out on your bullshit, and what you do is, there's a list of things here, let's take a look and let's see what I can fix for then me to be able to do those exercises properly and actually get stronger in a real fashion. So number one thing I would probably say is sleep. Okay, look at your sleep first. If you're not sleeping properly, about 7 hours plus, if you're not sleeping well, if your nighttime routine is rubbish where you're constantly on the screens and you take ages to sleep and you wake up early or you wake up in the middle of the night because of the fact that you're not resting well or you're not relaxed enough, that will show in the gym. Someone that's fully rested versus someone that is not fully rested, their results, it will show in their results, it will show in their performance as well. So make sure that's ironed out first of all, and then if that's okay, tick the box. Next, food. Make sure the basics are done, right? The protein amount, gram per pound of your body weight, make sure that's ticked off, and then you are getting a good amount of energy before your workouts. Like obviously I know there's different ways of eating, but you don't want to ideally have your breakfast in the morning at 8 o'clock and then the next meal you have is, let's say, after you train, and then that's obviously not going to be right. So whereas that the meal timing and all that isn't too significant, make sure you eat well, make sure you're rested, make sure you're hydrated well, and then you get that protein amount in there for you to have good output when you're training. Effort as well, like maybe look at your effort and see, are you sort of trying hard enough during exercise as well, or are they all just fluffy and you're trying to avoid the burning or the pain, you're trying to avoid all that? If that's the case, maybe that's something you need to look into. Maybe even if it's at the cost of some volume, right? You might as well, let's say, do 6 to 8 sets per week per body part versus 12 to 20 like you were doing before, but just really rubbish sets. Maybe sort of dial a few steps back, right? Maybe lower the amount of sets you do and just try input quality in them, because you're going to get more out of it. It's anything in life, really. The more effort you put in it, or the more thought process you have, and you get ready, you focus on the breathing, you focus on the training, the more you get out of less. And then maybe look at things like if you're thinking it's too low volume, or I can do more, I'm fit enough, I've dialed everything of that sort in, then add that. But in the meantime, maybe you drop it so you can just add a bit more quality in that work. And finally, I would say maybe lastly, I don't know, for someone on the strength level, I'm still intermediate. So what I would look at is deloads, but maybe after a long span of time, maybe 2 months later or so, I'd say, look into something as such as a deload. Sometimes you dial everything in, your food's sorted, you've looked at your recovery, you've looked at your nutrition, you've dialed in the volume as best as you possibly can, you feel like that's fine. but things just aren't moving. At that point, it's probably a good idea just to take a step back. Like I said with the volume, maybe reduce into looking into an optimal way of deloading. I've done it in the past where I've completely stopped training for a week just to say like, I need to switch off. I'll go back and I'll do better. That didn't work for me personally. It didn't really work that well. I think what suited me more was what I did back in the days with Faz lifts, where we sort of load the volume. So if I was doing like 3 sets per exercise, I would just do 1 and I'll do slightly higher reps and then way lower weight. And I'm not looking to go near my 1 rep max, or I'm not looking to near train around 10 RPE. I'm basically looking at a nice easy session, just getting the movement in and just getting out. And that done a lot for me, because sometimes these things can be psychological. It can be like a mental fatigue sort of thing that's built up over the hard work that you keep doing constantly week in, week out. So try a deload, and chances are all of those things will basically then initiate a growth response, and that should cover most of your issues in terms of progression. And if you currently think everything's fine, I'm training really well, I am getting stronger, this isn't me that this guy's talking about, it's not me. Film yourself. That's one of the best things you can do in your gym. Honestly, when you start a new exercise as well, I've noticed that myself recently. I've started doing a true squat. I can't show you any footage yet because it's not been recorded. But true squat machine, I thought I was doing so well, and then I pressed pause on the video. I stopped recording. I pressed play, and my form wasn't right. It just wasn't right. But in the moment, it felt amazing. I was like, this is right. You want to see if you can fix that. Because if the exercise that you're doing isn't giving you the right stimulus that it's designed for, then the muscles that you're looking for it to work on, they're not going to be obviously what you want. So for example, that true squat machine, I really wanted to emphasize my quads. Obviously it's a squat machine. The way I was doing it, it was probably doing my lower back more. So yeah, if I was to load up more weight on the bar, my form would have probably got worse because I wasn't in the right position for it to target the quads, and it would have worked my lower back more, would have got pains. And then me saying I've progressed, I'm getting stronger on it, but this exercise hurts my knees or hurts my lower back, that's not a fair statement to say. So you want to record your sets, look back, see what you can improve, go back in that exercise, record it again until you feel like this looks good. And then you can say you're looking to progress on it. Drop the ego, drop the BS, and confront yourself and say, am I actually getting stronger? Because ultimately, you getting stronger with the right form, standardized form, is going to be the formula for growth. I did it for so long. Honestly, I somehow stumbled out of my beginner phase and I got into the early intermediate and I looked around and I was like, this is perfect. And then honestly, early intermediate, I looked the same for a good 2 years. And it's only now for the last year where I've just seen so much more progress in my physique, and it has just been because of quality of my movements. And in turn, I've actually gotten stronger, right? Whereas you before can BS yourself sometimes saying I've gotten stronger, but then you get stronger for a little while, obviously, because it's the wrong form. It's not targeting the right muscle. It can only go so far before you pick up an injury or some pain or niggle somewhere. So for me, when I started doing that, it wasn't the case of where I kept dropping the weight. I challenged myself, you have to, but you do it with the right form. If you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful, do leave a like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment as well if you can, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.